Welcome to Med Sports TV. In today's episode of My Take, I'm bringing you two segments of a part one. The first segment would be upsets in boxing, and the second would be bouts that we need to see as fights fans. So, let me get into it. The first upset in boxing that I would bring to you is Muhammad Ali's win over Sonny Liston. Yes, this seemed very hard to process, but a quick reminder, as at the time, he was called Cassius Clay. He had not converted to Islam, so he was still using his birth name, which is Cassius Clay. Sonny Liston was the most feared heavyweight in the world as at that time. He had defeated the likes of Floyd Patterson twice, so no one wanted to fight Sonny Liston. But Ali proved himself. He had just gained some wins after the Olympics, winning gold medal. He seemed too fast, too quick, and outsmarted Sonny Liston. So that's the first upset in boxing that I'll bring to you. The second upset would be Big George Foreman versus Michael Moorer. Yes, George Foreman, who is a legend and has fought the likes of Joe Frazier, Muhammad Ali, came back after 10 years of retirement and won a heavyweight champion at age 45, which makes him the oldest person to win a world title at the heavyweight division. This fight took place at the MGM Grand. Michael was dominating that particular bout until he was hit by George's jab to the face, which caught him real good before the right hand did the damage. The referee counted him out of the fight, making that very night George Foreman became the world heavyweight champion 10 years after retiring and coming back, and he was age 45. Everybody wrote him out, but he managed to pull the trick that night. The next one I'll bring to you is Hakeem Rahman versus Lennox the Lion Lewis. This bout was billed Thunder in Africa. Lennox was the unified WBC, IBF, and IBO, and he was also the lineal, as at the time he was KO'd in the 5th round. Hakeem was a quick replacement for Iron Mike Tyson, who failed a drug test and was given a 3-month suspension. Many pundits felt that Lennox was just having an interim fight so he would keep fit in order for the Mike Tyson bout. But Hakeem Rahman had other plans. He KO'd the then champion and became the unified world heavyweight champion in South Africa. Hakeem, proud to that fight, was a 20-1 underdog. So even the bookmakers did not see how he could beat Lennox Lewis as at that time. Spence versus Ali in 1978. Yes, this fight is regarded as an upset, and in this bout, Spence shocked the world. It was obvious Ali was nearing the end of his career. Few thought Spence, who had just 7 pro bouts, could not beat Ali. But to his credit, he beat the then world most famous boxer. Spence's win over Muhammad Ali in 1978. While it was obvious Ali was nearing the end, few thought Spence, who had only 7 pro fights, could beat Ali. But the young Leo gave the best performance of his career in the 15th round with a miraculous win over Ali to be crowned the heavyweight champion. The last one for this segment is the most famous upset in sports history or boxing in general. That is Buster Douglas' win over Iron Mike Tyson in Tokyo, Japan. This fight happened February 11th, 1990. Buster Douglas was a 42-1 underdog, but had previously even been dominated by Mike Tyson in that very fight, having been knocked down a couple of rounds. Buster Douglas, whose mom had passed away, vowed that he wasn't going to lose the fight, used that as a determination point. Whenever he went down, he stood up. After getting up, he KO'd the then world heavyweight champion, the Kid Dynamite Iron Mike Tyson. This is regarded as the biggest upset in boxing. But hey, you may have some recent upsets in mind, but we have not forgotten. In the next part, the likes of Anthony Joshua versus Andy Ruiz would be featuring. Now, to the second part, which I think best fights the best. To the second segment, which I title The Best Fight the Best. The first fight we all as fight lovers would like to see is Anthony Joshua versus Tyson Fury. This fight will go down as one of the best in the modern era. Stylistically, both Anthony and Tyson have shown they can switch styles. AJ became a boxer in his last fight. He was light on his leg. He used his angles very well in the win over Andy Ruiz Jr. 2 months later, Tyson, the Gypsy King Fury, who promised to KO Deontay the Bronze Bomber Wilder within 2 rounds, did that in the 7th with a total dominance until his corner threw in the towel in the 7th round. So if we are able to see this fight, then we have an undisputed heavyweight champion in the modern era. But the last undisputed heavyweight champion of the world was Lennox Lewis. And the second fight all sports lovers want to see is Errol the Truth Spence Jr. versus Terence Buck Crawford. These fighters are both undefeated. Errol is a unified WBC and IBF world champion, while Crawford holds the WBO belt. This bout, if finally made, has the potential to become the #1 bout in the world. The Ring Magazine belt will also be on the line when the fight is made. Errol, who fights as a southpaw, and Terence, though a natural righty, fights both as an orthodox fighter and a southpaw. So that's another fight we all yearn to see as sports lovers. Though the third fight may not be a world level bout, the winner of this bout would become a great fighter, just like Anthony Joshua versus Dillian Whyte. So the third fight is between Joshua Buatsi and Anthony Yarde. And let me give you the background. This fight can also be dubbed Ghana versus Nigeria. Joshua is of Ghanaian origin, whilst Anthony has a Nigerian heritage. It may not be a world standard fight, but the winner would go on to conquer the light heavyweight division. Anthony has lost his first attempt at a world title to Sergey the Crusher Kovalev in Russia, but he has gone on to get a rich experience from that fight. Though Joshua hasn't fought at that level, but he has a richer amateur background, and he's been steadily progressed through the ranks by the likes of Eddie Hearn and Anthony Joshua himself. So that fight would be a great fight to watch if it's made in 2020. The winner of that fight can go on to fight the likes of Dmitry Bulev. Arthur versus Dimitri. This fight are labeled as power and skill. Both fighters have the potential to stop the fight with a single punch or survive on their boxing skill. Arthur and Dimitri are both world champions, both from Russia, both 6 feet tall, both have a perfect professional record. Arthur is a unified champion holding the IBF and the WBC title and has knocked out all his opponents in his 15 pro fights, but has an amateur record of 295 and lost only 5 bouts. The likes of Alexander Usyk won are losses he suffered, whilst Dimitri holds the WBA, has knocked out 11 of his 17 opponents, and has a rich amateur background of 268 fights, losing 15. The last of this segment would be Jose Ramirez versus Josh Taylor. America versus Great Britain again. The winner of this would be the undisputed world champion at 140 pounds. He would then go on to do great things at the 147 pound. When this fight happen, somebody's O is gonna go because both fighters are undefeated. The fight can easily be made since both fighters are signed on to Bob Arum's Top Rank promotion. And it can also be a 2-fight deal, with the first fight maybe taking place in Las Vegas and the second fight would take place at the O2 Arena in the UK. Thank you, sports lovers, for watching. Stay positive. Au revoir.